Good evening. So I held out until Monday thinking we'd get some follow-up announcements today. I didn't want to kind of come on and talk about a bunch of announcements or whatever, but we kind of didn't, so we're going to roll with what we got. First and foremost, if you somehow unfortunately missed it, the date of the last regional license exam, the online one in October, has changed. They moved it a week earlier, so it is now October 8th and 9th, so it's about a week and a half from now. The reason they did this was the impression that they gave off, and obviously they're not going to come right out and blame store owners or something, but it sounds like there were a lot of store owners that were very upset that there was a regional license exam on the same weekend as a pre-release. They didn't really want to have to schedule their pre-releases around it or whatever. So, you know, faced with either making a lot of stores upset or making some number of players upset, you know, obviously you have to keep the stores happy at this point. So they moved the regional license exam a week earlier. And if you were already registered for it at the previous date, then if you play, you'll get a couple extra promos. If you do not play, you can still get your normal promos or request a refund. So that's coming up a little bit sooner. This should be one of the last set to format events. It is not the last event that's giving out points for the Hero League Championship, but the last event for which the big chunky points are going to matter, because if you go that deep into Nationals, you're just in anyway. So we'll see how that goes. Momo's been winning everything. You probably almost take Momo against the field at this point, but you know, there's a lot of decks that can take a crack at her. People have been playing those, and she's been getting through. But one of these times, she's going to manage to not win an event. I assume, probably, right? Yeah, besides that, we should be getting pretty soon, any day now, the list of stores that are getting in-store provisionals. Those will take place in the last couple of weeks of October, the first week of November. They said they're going to pick 50 per region. That's 50 in North America, 50 in Europe, 50 in Oceania. We'll see if they sort of reallocate if they come up short on one of the regions. I mean, if they have 50 Oceania stores, you know, that would be pretty exciting. I think most people are a little surprised if that happens, but you know, we'll see. They've assigned 50 per region. Maybe they have it. Legality of Heroes Clash is going to be up to the stores. Obviously, it has to be after the set's release date if they're going to do that. But because it's not a premier level event, because these are sort of locals level events, the stores can decide if they want Heroes Clash to be legal or not. Most of them probably will, if possible. The pricing is going to be foil provisional promos for various points in top cuts, so the winner will get 2 of each one and down from there. And there's going to be a bunch of non-foils given out for participation. They probably didn't print enough foils to give foils all around across the board, and you know, maybe they still want the foils to feel really special, right? So those are going to be top cuts pricing at the store provisionals. Another piece of news that went over not very well. Jasco's going to be taking over the Plus Ultra Kit distribution from Asmodee. The exact specifics are, it might as well call it TBD. They did announce some specifics, but they got so much heat for it. Essentially, it was the end result was going to be stores were going to have a lot less of these promos of Plus Ultra packs to hand out than they have become accustomed to being able to hand out. And that players have been accustomed to being able to get in terms of attainability and stuff. So they're rethinking that, and we're still waiting on updated announcement on that. But the grand scope of things is basically they want to give kits out to stores for free, based on, you know, some sort of scaling based on the previous month's attendance, because you can't just give infinite kits, you have to come up with a number, right? So rather than stores having to buy kits, they want to give stores the kits for free. They're hoping that there are, you know, if there are stores out there that didn't want to deal with buying the prize support, that they'll be more likely to hold events if they're getting sent prize support just straight from Jasco. But yeah, the initial specifics on how many players get how many packs and what else is going on is to be determined. There's been mention that they will probably also add other ways to get Plus Ultra kits for stores. You know, whether that be allowing stores to buy some extras if they want, maybe. This is just speculation. You know, maybe they'll send kits with pre-release kits or something like that. They've also mentioned an onboarding plan for new stores that don't have a history to base kits off of. That's also TBD, other than them insisting that it exists. We've heard nothing about it. I haven't heard of any stores who've heard anything about it, so that's probably also still being worked out. So we'll see. That's the big thing I was hoping to hear an update on today, but it sounds like they're still stewing on that, so we'll see it when we see it. There was initially just an email out to stores, so maybe the follow-up is just going to be another email out to stores, and we just kind of have to wait for it to show up or something. But there's plenty of store owners that, I mean, emails out to stores do not often end up being very secret, right? There's plenty of store owners that are in the community and spread these things around. And there's no real reason for something like this to be a secret anyway. So still waiting on details on that. The last little bit that was brought up in the Discord, they have now said that Heroes Clash is going to be legal for all Nationals level events, which competes a little bit with saying that they've also said that they wanted the in-person Nationals to be the first Heroes Clash event, and they've also said that they want the online Nationals come before the in-person Nationals. So one of those things isn't going to be true. We still don't have a date for online Nationals. I think at this point it almost has to be after the in-person ones, just otherwise if everything else was true, then it would have to be November 4th and there'd be no reason not to announce it by now. So I'm guessing they're trying to set it up, or maybe they're waiting to get the European one scheduled because they don't want to do the online one on the same weekend as the Europe or Oceania Nationals, and maybe that's what the holdup is. But yeah, we're still waiting on when this online Nationals is going to be. But whenever it is, they're insisting that Heroes Clash is going to be legal. So it is definitely not the last weekend of October, so we know that. And yeah, that's it. We got through that pretty quickly, I think. But, you know, lots of TBD, lots of waiting for some updates to Jasco. Hopefully we get those this week. This weekend is going to be the Rochester in-person provisionals. It looks like we're going to cross 40 players for that, so it's going to be a kind of reasonable event so far as provisionals go. We'll see what shows up there. There's going to be the Clash at the Castle side event where we bring in some older sets for some sort of estimation of what a future multi-license format might look like, and that should be pretty fun. So yeah, if you're in the area and you're on the fence about coming down, I would encourage you to come down. It should be pretty fun. We've got a good venue and all of that. Jesse runs a good event. And Rochester's a pretty good place to visit. We have some good food. I'm sure we'll be doing some stuff in and around the events. And there's the Belt side event and the Friday night locals that we usually get a bunch of people at. So yeah, that'll be a good time. Looking forward to that. Still don't know. I'm probably playing. I don't know what deck I'm playing. We'll figure it out. But yeah. Well, hopefully we get a bunch of updates so I can do another one of these later in the week ahead of that. But until whenever that is, yeah, have a good night.